Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where I take a look at the lectionary text and I tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer or the kids' room or the garage and other places. So I am glad that you are here, and this is for the narrative lectionary. Now we are worshiping online we have been through the month of January, starting actually with the second Sunday in January, and we are going to be worshiping online for a couple of more weeks as we watch numbers and we see and pray for numbers to start to fall. We don't know if we're at our peak yet here in Oregon, but wherever you are and however you are worshiping, know that you are rocking it, and congregations forget sometimes, so I'm going to tell you, you are doing an awesome job, and God's blessings be on you on this day. So, narrative lectionary, we are looking at healing stories, and we are looking at specifically, the text is John 4:46 through 54, and we have this healing where Jesus is back in Cana, and it's where he's turned water into wine. He's done these signs, he's back there, and when he comes back, one of the leaders comes up and says, "Hey, my child is sick. I need your help. Please, I know, I've seen the signs that you could do. Please, my kid, I need help." And so Jesus says an interesting thing in there. Jesus says, you don't believe unless you see signs and wonders, or something similar to that. So what I find interesting in that is that doesn't stop Jesus from healing the child. So when I first read that, I go, whoa, wait a minute. Jesus is coming down hard, and we see this a couple of times throughout the Gospel of John, especially. But Jesus heals. Jesus heals the kid, and the dad. There's this point where he comes, and there's a sense of belief that goes on there. But I just find it interesting that outside or alongside or beyond this conversation between Jesus and the guy, I'm just going to call him the guy, but beyond that conversation, the healing takes place, where when he gets home and the fever has left his kid, left his child, and he starts to go back, and he's like, wait a minute, that happened at that point. And there's this connection of what happened. And so the item from the Dollar Tree that I'm looking at using is either a box of Band-Aids or a box of first aid, a first aid kit that's got a bunch of stuff. And talk about the things you need to do this. And there's a point of when I remember when I was a kid, and my parents would tend a wound, or when I have a scar on my wrist. It's hard to see. See the light. Boy, that's interesting. It's a harder one to see on video. Anyway, you can barely see it here. It comes up this way here. When I was a kid, up near our cabin in Montana, I fell on a mountainside, running up a mountainside. I fell on probably one of the only pieces of glass on the entire mountain, and I had to go in. They took me in for stitches. And what's interesting is when they took me in for stitches, I did not question that would heal. I didn't question that at some point using the stitching, holding the skin together. I won't go into any more detail because it wasn't fun. But and I find it interesting, like when my parents would clean a wound, or when something would be like that, I had faith in what they were doing, because they're my parents. They, sometimes I didn't want them to do it. Sometimes I'm like, no, when my mom's like, let me look at it, no. But there's a level of trust, and in this story, I see a level of trust. And when this man approaches Jesus and says, "My kid, I need your help." And there's a points of, so there's a couple of directions we could go in here. We could talk about what are the things that we have a hard time asking for help with, because I think that for this guy, I mean, that really compelled him to ask for help because it's his child, and it's like I can't, I'm helpless. I'm going to go to God. I'm going to go to Jesus, and there's that, and so there's that. What do we ask for help? And then there's the sense of that God is acting because God loves us. And there's this point of healing that takes place that's beyond, it's beyond the things that we do. And so what I struggle with is this idea that the kid was healed because the man had belief. That, there's that, I don't know, as you can tell, I'm still working this, but the idea, the connection is the Band-Aids and the first aid kit. And I think connecting it to the trust I haven't had in my parents when they're putting together, the trust that I had in the doctor as he or she, I can't remember if it was a he or a she. I just remember that this hurt. So, but when the doctor sewed up my wound, knowing that it would heal, and thinking back on that, and I think about how this guy, when he gets home and he hears that the fever has left his child, and he connects it back, and he's like, wait a minute. So that sometimes our memories about how God has been active in our lives can also connect. So maybe that might be another direction. Okay, lots of stuff here. Hopefully something in here is useful, is helpful. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for your partnership in this ministry, and blessings be on you as you witness and you love your kids. So, all right, peace, and we'll see you next week.